What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the brand new LoreRim 3.0 update that just released on Christmas Day. Now, if you are unfamiliar with what that is, LoreRim is a curated mod list. It contains over 4,000 different mods that you can download using a program called Wabbajack. This contains mods anywhere from visually appealing mods to UI mods to mods that add different skills to the game, different missions, you name it. It has everything. So, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to update our original LoreRim installation. If you are unfamiliar with how to use Wabbajack and how to install mod pack lists, as well as the initial installation process, I did that a couple weeks ago. In this specific video, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to update to LoreRim 3.0. What you're going to want to do, you're in Wabbajack here, go to your browse mod lists, and I'm going to go ahead and look for LoreRim, third chapter, and this is actually 3.03 now. There were a few hot fixes that released after the initial release. So we're going to go ahead and hit the download mod list. And one thing to keep in mind, and you can see right here, it says total size required is 576 gigabytes. That's total with the install and then also the installation. So install for the download itself, it's 253, and then when it extracts all those files to the installation folder, it's 323. And you can put the download location on a different drive as the installation folder if you don't have enough space. So see here, I have my target mod list, that's LoreRim 3.0, and then the mod list installation location, that's where it's going to install all of your mods. And then the resource download location, I actually have this on the D drive because I don't have enough space on my E drive SSD. Now, if you're updating, you're going to want to hit this checkbox here to overwrite the installation. If this is the first time you're installing, one thing you want to do is you want to move your Skyrim location in Steam. You can do this in Steam. You can say move out of program files, and you'll want to move the Skyrim installation location to just a different drive, so it's out of the program files, because if it's in the program files, it can cause issues with Windows thinking that this installation is like a virus or whatnot. It can just cause issues. Since I'm updating, I'm going to go ahead and hit this checkbox here and then go ahead and hit the play. And what it's going to do, it's going to start looking for files to delete. Going to start matching some of the old files that it had in the download location if you've previously installed this mod before. And again, if you need a full installation guide, go ahead and check out my other video from a couple weeks ago. I show you guys how to fully install this and using Wabbajack. And one other thing to note is you will probably need Nexus Premium in order to get this to work. So this shouldn't take too long here, as I've already actually installed 3.0. So right now I'm just installing 3.03 in order to make sure I get all the hot fixes before we launch. Alright, so as you can see here, the installation update was successful. And that did not take me too long. I did already install 3.0 at one point. So the hotfix patch really only took me about 15 minutes to install that update. But anytime there's an update, just make sure to hit that overwrite installation button. Bring up our mod installation folder, and we're going to launch the mod organizer program that it installed for us. So what it does, it installs mod organizer 2 and then puts all 4,000 of those mods in the correct load order, so you don't even have to deal with that. And you want to wait at the bottom here for this to fully load. So once it's loaded, everything will pop up like this, and you can go through and look at all the mods that it's downloaded and the load order that it's in. And if there's something that you don't like, you can go ahead and disable it. You have to be kind of careful with disabling things because it can break other mods. You want to make sure that your game still loads after you do certain things. But if it's something simple, you can go in and just disable it and be like, okay, I don't really like that, and move on. But you can go ahead and look at all the mods and their load order. And then when you're ready to launch it, make sure it's on LoreRim here and go ahead and hit run. We'll see what the LoreRim 3.0 update has to offer. Like this new logo here too. I think he did a contest for whoever was gonna create a logo, and this was the one that won. It looks really good. LoreRim, the 3rd chapter. All right, as always, it takes a little while to load in everything on your first boot. But just be patient, and eventually this will pop up here. Now this is interesting. It's giving me... Oh no, okay, good. So it did nuke all the saves, just so you guys know. Well, no, it's showing me I have some old saves here, but I know it said it wasn't save friendly, so to be safe, we're gonna start a new game. Alright, so that looks good. I just made a quick character. We're going with Kashyyyk this time. Dope. Kitties 3.0. Seems more fitting since we went with the cat character this time. Alright, here in the game, this is a similar setup. One thing to keep in mind though, you can see in the top left that the mods are still kind of loading into the game. So it might be worth waiting for all of those to load in until you actually start playing fully and starting your quests. Or starting your character, I should say. Okay, that took a couple minutes, and now everything's loaded in, so let's go ahead and talk to our statue here.
Approach, my child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
I am a necromancer. Whoa. Attacked by a dragon. That doesn't sound like a good way to wake up. Let's see here. Or I guess you could do a random one. I'm a property owner.
Which property do you own?
That's a good one. And just go ahead and own Breeze Home. That way we'll start out in Whiterun.
Even a modest existence is something to admire.
Okay. Go sleep in our bed, and then that'll get us going into the game here. Alright, so we're back in. So when I tried to go to my map after I had picked my items, it ended up crashing, which was interesting. Hopefully that is not going to be a problem in the future. But here we are in Breeze Home. I don't think much has changed. The interiors still look amazing. See if we jump down here. Yep, fires still look awesome. Open or close magic or inventory menu to install Requiem. Okay. Here's your modified inventory menu. This is all the same as well. Okay, so this is new. You suddenly feel a sense of apprehension as a mysterious sound enters your mind like a machine of 1,000 cogs starting to spin. Amidst that noise, you think that you hear a voice speaking, whispering, Requiem. You are overcome with exhaustion as the machine changes the Arbis, I don't think it's saying that right, to something more dangerous but also more interesting and vivid. Feeling is overpowering. You need to stand still and hope it passes quickly. Alright, let's do it. After a short respite, you hear a whisper of the cogwheels subside as if the machine has stabilized in perpetual silent motion. Whatever it was, it seems to have left an indelible mark on everything around you, from the highest gods to the basest of animals, from the most arcane secrets to the simplest of tools. You also realize that you have been well saved. Your 3 skills are not as meager as you thought they were. You only need to focus on them and you will be ready to start using their potential. Okay. Alright, so loading into Skyrim, I can already tell that this has been improved. So the parallax effect is still there with the stone. It still looks awesome. But you can see little subtleties like the flora that have been added throughout the city. And also on like different buildings and whatnot. You can see the different plant life and whatnot growing. It just kind of makes Whiterun look like it's been lived in. And a little less clean, which is actually makes it look more realistic. But it's subtle too. It's not like, you know, you're adding a bunch of trees and whatnot into the middle of the city and then it looks like a freaking jungle. Like, this is pretty subtle and I really actually like this. Yeah, this is a great touch from 2.0 to 3.0. And if you want to get a little more immersive, you can hold X on your keyboard and it'll make your bottom UI menu disappear, your HUD. So I'm noticing some small stutters. We'll get into that in the performance section later on in this video. But that could be the fact that I'm not running this on an M.2 SSD. I'm running it on a SATA SSD. But it's still running very well overall. Let's go ahead and look at some of the interiors in Whiterun real quick. Fires still look awesome as normal. They did a good job with the NPCs. They actually look like they fit into the game, you know.
Sensitive question. You may want to be careful broaching that subject with some.
Oh, don't worry too much about it.
The lighting coming into the room, that looks awesome as well. This whole thing looks great.
Look around, I'm sure you'll find.
Yeah, here's Bellathor's shop.
If not, let me know. I might have it stored away. Not my thing, but who am I to judge?
Looks awesome. And here's Arcadia's cauldron.
Take a good around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for.
So nothing really changed a lot here between 2.2 and 3.0, but I still think it looks awesome. They didn't really need to change anything. And it looks like, yeah, Arcadia is the same NPC. I really like her shop overall. Just looks pretty cool. Alright, so this is right outside of Whiterun. Everything looks pretty similar, although I think they still did add a little more floral, which looks pretty good. The mountains have a very similar look, but they're a little different as well. I think it looks better. Pretty good in my opinion. They did change a little bit of the rivers, it looks like. Looks pretty good, in my opinion. I know the water did change. We're going to go to Riverwood in a little bit here and check out the new water, because that also did change, I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead and fast travel over to Riverwood and see how things look over there. Alright, so here we are in Riverwood. And kind of similar. Looks like a little bit of additional floral was added to this area. Does look really good though. Most things are pretty similar overall. But there are some subtle changes that make this game just look awesome. So here's the difference. We're going to go to the other side of the river. You can get a comparison look from my last video. So the color of the river changed to be kind of more of that like greenish tinge, which is more realistic. I mean, if you've ever gone and seen a river yourself up close, especially in the United States, this is pretty accurate to an actual like color of a river. The other one looked more like eye-popping with the blue, but this is definitely more accurate. Same thing over here. This probably looks even better. With the trees and everything looking down. Just kind of looks like a river that you'd be looking out at from the south. Uh-oh. Well, what's up, boys? What's up? They're just staring at me. Alright, looks like the blood splatter, too, is about the same. It looks really good. Well, at least the same from 2.2. When I say the same, I'm comparing it to the last update of LoreRim, which was 2.2, which I just did a video on a couple weeks ago. So coming back through here, let's see what time it is right now. Okay, so it's 3:15. Let's go ahead and go to 12:15 tomorrow. All right, here we go. This will give us a kind of similar feel from my last video. And yeah, once again, oh yeah, this just looks great. I actually really do like the new water. It's all personal preference, you know? It's all objective. But for me, I think it looks awesome. Okay, so same thing here. If you're in the water, it definitely looks much more realistic. Kind of more of that murky kind of water. So before, it was almost like you're looking down on like a beach with that crystal clear type water. But this is more accurate to like what a river would look like. Yeah, and same thing here. So it's just a little more murky, which makes the game look way better, especially for the atmosphere of Skyrim. The blue, you know, it was eye-popping, but this is definitely more accurate to like how an actual river would look. Same with the brush and everything. And the different trees and the different plant life. Just looks really good. Here's like your standard waterfall. Wow, that's pretty awesome looking. With the water. Yeah, that looks really good. And they got these wolves all over the place. Alright, next we're going to go to Solitude. And I'm just going to kind of check some of the main areas. I'm not going to go to every single area in this game, just a few of the main cities, just to kind of give you guys a taste of what this mod has to offer, or this mod list, I should say. So this is Solitude here. Yeah, this looks pretty good as well. And I think they're also using a different ENB. Fires look about the same. But yeah, I think they're using a different ENB, which also should help with the night levels. We're going to do that test in a little bit here. Just take the night down and see if it like gets too dark in certain areas. This area kind of looks about the same to me. I don't think there's as many changes through here. This is the farm right outside of Solitude. Go ahead and make it night and see what the new ENB makes this look like. I believe last time it was about 10 o'clock at night or 11 when it was way too dark and I couldn't see anything. Okay, so I can already tell this is much better. This is 11 o'clock at night and I can actually walk around and see what I'm doing. Because that was the problem I had with the last update with the default ENB, was that the night was almost too dark for me to see where I was going at this time of night. Okay, 11, 2 a.m., I'm not noticing as many constellations though. That's the other thing. I thought last time there were all kinds of cool aura, whatever, constellations up in the sky. I'm not seeing a whole lot of that this time around. There we go. Okay, so sometimes it appears, sometimes it doesn't. So there's one of your constellations in the sky there. Pretty cool. Go to about 2 a.m. There's some of your moons and whatnot. And that's what kind of adds some of the glow when it's actually at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Alright, now we're going to go to Markarth. Because I know there are some improvements made here. Let's turn it to daytime. Just to keep things consistent here. So there was some extra parallax added, I know, into like these stone tiles and whatnot. And then same with some of these buildings. They look awesome. Just adds a lot of realism to the game. Make things just really pop. Here's some of your interiors. This is your treasury. Yeah, they did a really good job with this. With the combination of mods that was introduced. Looks really good.
The treasury house is really just for patrons of the Silverblood family. You don't belong here.
Nope.
For one, the landowners of the Reach. It goes without saying that they rely heavily on us for our silver and support. All the miners, farmers, and laborers in the Reach get their daily wages through us. Nepos the Nose handles that part of our business. He has a way with the workers. I have records I need to tend to.
Alright, and last but not least, we gotta go check out Riften. See what changes were made there.
I don't know you. You and Riften looking for trouble.
The NPCs still look really good. They don't look out of place in terms of, you know, some mods they introduce like anime characters and like it just looks way out of place in Skyrim. But yeah, they did a really good job with all the NPCs in this mod pack.
Yeah? Well, I got news for you. There's nothing to see here. Last thing the Blackbriars need is some stranger sticking their nose where it doesn't belong.
Alright, so the water looks really good too in Riften. I'm not sure if that was changed or not, but it does look good. It's kind of got that like murky water look going on, which definitely fits the atmosphere of Riften. And same with the wood planks and whatnot. I think there is like a seasons type thing going on. So here it is when it's raining. We all know that Riften, it rains quite a bit. Yeah, everything just looks really awesome. They did a great job with this mod pack.
Got the coin? You've come
This is inside one of the bars in Riften. Again, I think all the interiors, they did a really good job. Also, I didn't really mention the fires. That's unchanged, but the fires look great in this game. This mod pack, I should say.
Yeah.
And just even just the little assets like food and whatnot. So they're not full 4K assets. They're only at like I believe it's a 2K or even a 1K resolution, but you're not going to get much of a difference even if you are pushing some of those assets to 4K, and all it's really going to do is take down your performance. So as you can see here, all the foods and different things, the tinctures and cups and pots and pans and everything with the subtle little flame coming from the little fire there, just everything just looks great. And I don't think it needs to really be increased, the graphics, anymore. Because like I said, you're just going to be losing out on performance, and all you're going to look at is maybe just a slightly sharper looking cup or something, you know? So that's your interiors. So moving on to the performance part of this review, I decided to do the visuals first and then performance, unlike my last video. So as you can see in the top left, I've increased the size of my overlay so you guys can see what's going on with my system. My current graphics card is a 4080 Super, and the CPU is a AMD 7900 X3D, and I have 32 gigs of RAM. So one thing I noticed, and I thought this was supposed to increase the performance, is so far I'm noticing a slightly underperforming compared to the last update, compared to 2.2. And I've tried to reset my computer, set my page file size, and no matter what I do, I'm getting consistently about maybe 5 frames lower, which is interesting because I thought this was supposed to increase the performance, and maybe it is kind of system specific. But going through here, this is Whiterun. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. We are running about 40 FPS. And I did end up setting that page file that they wanted you to set, and then also resetting my computer and making sure I don't have a lot of things running in the background. And it kind of jumped around anywhere from about like 40 to sometimes as high as 60. And this is very similar performance to what I was seeing prior, but it does to me seem like that it's a little worse for whatever reason. And I ended up just updating the game, and maybe it would be worth doing a fresh install, just deleting all files and trying to do a full fresh install. But yeah, kind of running around here. I guess I could pull out my sword, kind of get a better idea, you know, of what it'd look like. Put my overlay back on as well, since we're not doing the visual part of this review anymore. And then turning it to middle of the day. It was a little bit better.
Hello there.
Hi there.
But still seemed to be running a little worse than the last update for whatever reason. Coming out to the front of Whiterun, performance is similar. Again, I think I'm noticing a smaller dip, a little less frames than I was noticing on 2.2. And then this is going over here into the fields with the grass. And I was staying in about low 40s. Sometimes going as high as 50s. A little bit of pop in, but I was also dipping into the high 30s here and there, which is why I was noticing that the performance was a little slower on my particular setup. And I might try to run this game, like I said, with a fresh install, but we'll see what happens. So I'm trying to keep things similar. I guess it's a little foggy right now. Let's try to get it so it's a little more clear outside. Okay, there we go. That's a little less fog. Try to keep things consistent from my last video, just so we can test the performance out. And yeah, I'm getting about in the 40s. Oh, and also just to keep in mind, I am running this game at 4K. So if you were to run this game at 1440p, which is the recommended specs, then I'm sure you'd be able to get up higher frame rates. But I'm just trying to test out my system to the max and see what I can get going here. Do a battle with a tiger. As for the performance of the interiors, it's running much better, but that's just because there's a lot less to an interior. I'm able to break about 60, sometimes going up into the 70s, depending on where I am in the house, or even 80 sometimes. So this is downstairs where I got my nice little spa here. In my Breeze home. Okay, and here we are in Riverwood, and it's raining outside. Looking at about 45 to 46 FPS at 4K resolution. Going up into the 50s sometimes. But pretty good. And I could be limited by my CPU in this case. My CPU is more of like a production style CPU. Does very good with gaming as well, though. And this is what your river is going to look like when it's raining. Go ahead and clear up that rain. And here we are where it's sunny out. And we're in the 42s, kind of the mid 40 range with our FPS in the top left.
Watch it, you fop doodle.
And our GPU is almost maxing out with a 4080 Super. So this is a pretty heavy GPU game, but still very playable. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know down below. I'll be doing more videos like this. I'll be installing more mod packs, doing more showcases and reviews. So stay tuned for that. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, have a wonderful day.